I'm just kidding. I would never do this. That is barbaric. But we've all heard the saying that you cannot use your fabric scissors on paper. But why? Is there truth behind this silly seeming madness? Well, in this video, let's talk about that. Welcome back, my sewing friends. It is wonderful to have you here again. Welcome. My name is Evelyn Wood, and here on this channel we talk about everything garment sewing to help you get better at your garment sewing. So if you haven't already, do hit the subscribe button down below so that you can see all the latest and greatest videos that we have. Today's video is a bit of fun. You all have heard the saying that you shouldn't use your fabric scissors for cutting paper. You have fabric scissors and you have paper scissors, and they don't mix. And if you ask any sewist, they will tell you that for sure. But the real question is why. Now, there are so many sewing memes running around the internet on this subject, because we all know, ask any sewist and they will tell you, no, you cannot borrow my fabric scissors. It's actually been a running joke in my household since I was a teenager, and I would sew, of course. Back then I had my own sewing space set up, and my dad would want to borrow my fabric scissors for, okay, one time he wanted to cut wire with it. I know, you know what I mean, scary. And so it's always a joke now that he'll always ask to borrow my fabric scissors, and the answer is always no. But why? Why do I only use fabric scissors for fabric and not for paper, and vice versa? And why should you have different ones? I promise there is a little bit of method behind this madness. First obvious, it will blunten your scissors. Now, not in the sense that paper is so bluntening, but yes, paper is full of different minerals and all different sorts of additives that are actually quite abrasive to the blades that we cut with. And so they'll blunten your scissors faster than they will just fabric. And so anything, the more you use them, the more they're going to blunten. So you want to keep your fabric scissors as sharp as humanly possible, because we all know it makes the job of cutting out fabric so much more pleasurable when they are sharp, they are accurate, and they do what you want them to do. So any amount of blunting, extra work is just going to make them blunter faster, which we want to try and avoid. So that is kind of why you would keep just paper scissors for paper, just El Cheapo paper scissors for all of your paper, and keep your fabric scissors just for fabric. That way they'll be used less. You won't have to sharpen them as much. They'll stay sharper longer, and it will make the job so much better, I promise. Second reason, if you are into any type of pattern making and adjusting, you know that your patterns end up looking like this, and you have sticky tape or glue or lead pencil and all sorts of things all over it. And we're constantly cutting out and rearranging this, and we get all of this on your scissors. My paper scissors are disgusting. They are covered in all sorts of sticky tape and glue, and they often get like lead pencil on them. And when you cut with them again, the pencil comes off, so you'll discolor. Imagine that's all going onto your fabric. No way, no thank you. So when you in pattern making, you're going to get all those, and you do not want your fabric scissors to have any type of glue or sticky stuff or anything like that on them. That will obviously ruin your fabric. Your scissors can get burrs on them quite quickly, and you don't want those either. So keep them clean, 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 clean. So hence why fabric is always quite clean and just for fabric. Now, my last reason is, well, very important, because can they really be trusted? I mean, when someone asks to borrow your fabric scissors, can they really be trusted? They might say they're only using fabric they want them to cut fabric, but as I said, I caught my dad, he wanted to cut wire with them. So it's obviously that's just for a bit of light and comedy, because, well, I mean, unless they are part of the sewing fraternity that we are all part of here in our sewing club, you have to really, really trust them that they're not going to cut anything else other than fabric with your fabric scissors if you loan them out. So, next time someone asks, can I borrow your fabric scissors? Maybe have a think. Is it for fabric? Anything else? There's a great flow chart I saw once, perfect for this. Series of questions is to the answer yes or no. My answer's almost always no. A lot of people actually think that the fabric on my fabric scissors here is to mark that they are indeed my fabric scissors, but no, there is a definite difference. I actually have fabric shears. These are a very different tool to these paper scissors that I have. The fabric I have on here is actually just for comfort. When you cut a lot in these bigger ones, it's just nice to have some padding in the different areas where your hand hits it all the time. So it's just for padding. These are clearly my fabric shears. Well, now that we've solved the eternal question of can you cut paper with your fabric scissors? Let me know. What is your answer? Do you cut paper with your fabric scissors? Are all your fabric scissors just for fabric like mine? Add in a funny story too in the comments if you have one, because it's always a bit of fun to share our sewing stories. Until next time, my sewing friends, happy sewing. Bye.